Once you're ready to start the meeting, just hit record.
I'm
And if you
recording now.
don't, it won't. Okay.
How do I admit people? There you go. I think I just admitted Steve.
Hello.
Hi, Steve. This is Joe Suter. I think I'm a rookie administrator on this
Okay.
the Zoom call. So I got you in successfully. So
All right.
we're okay.
Don't look to me to help you figure it out because I can't figure any of this stuff out. But
And the first one under 40 that says "Okay, Boomer," I'm going to be mad at.
yeah. I'm also looking for. I guess I'm not on my webcam. I'm not sure what that's about. Let's see.
Yeah, I think you have to enable video on your end. At least that's how I.
Well, do video settings. Am I on there now?
I can see you standing in front of a really nice old biplane or monoplane.
That's a beauty. It was one of a kind up until 2 years ago. Somebody found one and rebuilt that also. It's a 1937 Stinson Reliant.
Wow, it's beautiful. Hi, this is Joe Suter. I'm a rookie administrator of this call, so I think I got you on.
Hi,
There it is.
this is Carol Such.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hi.
Joe, would you rather look at the airplane? Hi, Paula.
I think Paula can't hear us.
Okay, and Caroline's in, it looks like.
Oop, I still have my work background on here. Oh.
You got to put like a luau or something. Come on.
I did a webinar this week for work, and now I still got this one up. Got to change it.
Give me 1 minute. I have to see how far I have to lean over to see. Can't see I'm drinking a beer. Perfect. Got it.
You know, he's smart one.
Not supposed to do that, I guess, at rec board meetings.
Yeah, I wish this
Why
was creative.
not?
Yeah. Caroline, did you get the invitation through the Genius sign up?
I did. I'm not sure I'm available tomorrow. I didn't know it was going to be a weekly thing. It just depends if my meeting ends in time, but I'm going to try to make it.
The reason I was asking, not only to see if you could make it, but also just to see if I did it right, if it came through correctly. Like you suggested that app, and I'd never heard of it before. So
Yeah, no, I got it. It looked good.
Okay. All right.
Did we get signups? I didn't look.
We got Joe, you're in. No, Joe, you're a maybe.
Yeah, I'm a maybe. It depends. I don't know what my schedule is tomorrow night, but if I'm around, I'll definitely come over.
Okay.
I went last week, because I didn't catch the last email that canceled it. So I was sitting there by myself.
Oh, no.
It's up to me. It's my fault for not checking email.
Let me see. I hate new apps because it's so hard to find anything until you learn your way through. Slots. So we've got. Caroline, do you know this app pretty well?
Pretty well, yeah. I think it's used for a lot of things that I sign up for. Why, any problems?
Well, like I'm in the design page now. Where do I find people that have agreed or declined?
You just go to the actual link sheet that you sent. So it looks like Anita Sands is 3 guests and David Leach is 1 guest for yes. No is Carol Schultz and Jimmy Ballmer, and maybe is Loretta with 1 guest,
Right.
and Joe S, which I guess is this Joe.
That's me.
And this Joe. And
I didn't. This is Carol Such. I did not respond because I don't know what I'm doing.
So, Bill, welcome to the group. None of us know what we're doing, apparently. But we somehow muddle our way through.
I think I'm not sure how many people are going to show up. Do you want to just get started?
Yeah, it's 7:01, so we might as well start the meeting.
I thought that Who
I
said
thought
that
Sue was going to,
2 minutes? Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
We'll
I
wait
think
for her
Sue,
at
yeah,
least.
Sue was going to do the minutes, yeah.
So it looks like we've got, Carol, your friends, the Sands are going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah,
And,
they're new.
Okay.
They bought the house not too long ago, and I bumped into them, and we got talking, and they've been wanting to get involved with Yardley events and activities, and then I told them about the cornhole thing, and they were interested, so I got their information, and I passed it along.
okay. Well,
They
if
they seem very nice.
all right. Yeah, and if
Yeah.
we have them and Dave and myself, that's a foursome. That's enough to get one game in anyway.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
They're doing beautiful things on the house on Penn Valley. It's a deep blue house. They painted a beautiful federal blue, and it really stands out. It's gorgeous. They're doing so much work on the house. It's so nice to see it going back to it the way it used to be.
Is it a historic
they-
home, or it's certainly an older home?
No, it's just a home right after the war. It's the houses. These houses were built right after World War II.
Right.
Up here, and the Penn Valley Drive was the first part of the Penn Valley Terrace plan track up here, and then Cadwalader Court was built like 2 or 3 years later, and so they are the original homes up here, and they were like mostly people that bought the homes were on the GI Bill after the war, and they were mostly workers of the steel mill plants that lived up here.
Okay.
So the original owner, he passed away, and then so it was bought by these people, and so they're bringing it back really nice.
Good.
So
looking
I'm
forward to
pleased.
them tomorrow.
They seem like they really want to get to meet Yardley, the Yardley people.
It's a good place. It's a good borough.
Yes.
Does anyone have Sue's number? This isn't like her.
Hello. Sue's having a hard time getting in. Do you see her anywhere?
No, I was looking.
Yeah,
if
I
she
think
was waiting.
Paula handed off administrative responsibilities to me, and I've been admitting people. I haven't seen one from her yet.
Hi, Paula.
I think I'm not sure
It's gone
Paula can
again.
hear us.
Oh, I just heard her voice, but now it's gone again. It's like
Yeah, I
that.
just heard her. Yeah.
And who's Brian Welch?
Brian, introduce yourself. Can you hear us, Brian?
You might not have the video.
Brian is
There's Carol.
the #1 attendee of our Yardley Borough Council meetings. He's the chair of the Reading Ave Friends of the Reading Ave parcel.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Brian.
I'm not sure.
All right.
Hi, Carol.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
Hi, Carol.
And who's just the phone number? Is that Carol Schultz?
Such.
7035?
It's Carol Suches, that's the phone.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Can anybody else see right through me?
Yeah. You need a green screen.
Go.
That's
Can you
really
hear
what I
me?
look like. All right.
There she is.
There's Sue.
Sue is muted for some reason.
Yeah, I'm mute her. Sue, you're muted. There you go.
Okay, now my video's off.
There you
Yay! I got it on my phone. I'm
Hi.
like open on my computer.
Hi, Sue.
Hey, everybody. Did I see Ockville there shortly?
Yes.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello,
Bill, welcome.
Thank you.
Did I say your name right?
Akvila. Yep.
Vila, okay. I was going to ask that. I didn't want to be the first one.
Okay.
Welcome to the group.
Welcome.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, we're meeting like this for the first time that you're here. I can't see anybody. Oh, there, wait, something's happening here. Now I see a couple people. Joe, Steve. I saw Carol Schultz. I saw Carolyn for a minute.
Yeah, I'm here.
So we still waiting for Carol Such.
No,
She's
I'm
here.
here.
You're here? Is everybody here?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. Is Lisa here? Is Jimmy here?
No, Jimmy's down in Florida, I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
Lisa,
okay.
Lisa just emailed. She has a family emergency, and then obviously Anne's not coming. So this is everyone.
Yeah, I
So
think
this
it's-
is great. Okay.
And I'm partly invisible tonight, so there's nothing wrong with your eyesight.
Okay. Well, I thought we should start by welcoming Akvili. Did I say that right?
Akvila.
Akvila. Okay. To the board. And do you want to introduce yourself a little to us?
I guess. So my name is Akvila. I have basically grown up in the borough. I went to the high school. I went away to college. I came back, and now I reside here full time. So I have really seen a lot of the events that started since I've been here for 12 plus years. So now, as I'm, getting older, I thought it would be really nice to learn and help and assist and do things to really be a part of this great community. So I'm excited.
That's great.
Thank you.
That's great. Should we introduce ourselves or just?
Yeah, sure. I'm Joe Suter. I'm a relatively new member of the group as well. Longtime Lower Makefield resident. Moved into the borough a little less than 2 years ago. Been on the board for about 6 months. It's a lot of fun so far, even though we've been Zooming mostly.
So I'm Steve Andrews. My wife Loretta and I have been in the borough for about 3 years now, and we love living here. I've been on the rec board for I guess 2 years now, and we enjoy the community and enjoy being involved with it.
I'm Carol Schultz. I think I've been on the rec board 25 years now. Yeah, it all started when we had the Borough Centennial, I think it was, maybe back in 95. So I've been running the yoga program that we do out of the rec room by the police station. So that's what's been keeping me going all this time. And it's just fun to, be with this group and meet all the people who come to our events.
I'm Brian Welch. I'm in both on my computer, and now I called in so my audio could be heard. So it's getting some feedback. That's why I think my number's chipping in once in a while. But I'm a 35-year resident of Yardley Borough. I've been involved in a lot of aspects of activity. And currently my goal at this point is to introduce Reading Avenue and our project there to the Parks and Rec Board, and look forward to assistance and feedback.
Hi, I'm Carol Such, and I've been in the borough about 68 years, and I've been on the board for about 8 years or so, and I'm pretty active in different things in events in Yardley Borough at different times. I'm also the president of Yardley Historical Association, and welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Caroline Thompson. I'm the council liaison to Parks and Rec. So every committee of council has a liaison from council that attends meetings to help out. Lived in the borough for 6 years with my husband, and we have a 2-year-old and 2 dogs. So it's awesome to have you representing the young folks over here.
Thank you.
Hey,
Absolutely. Carol's a great liaison. And I'm Sue Schneep. I don't know how long I've been on the board, maybe 4 years or something like that. And I've lived in the borough since 1986, I think. And you know, I'm one of the managers of the Yardley Farmers Market, and you know, it just seemed like a good board, and we've got a great group, and you know, we're missing a couple people, but Jimmy is very active in the 5K race. He's a runner. Lisa's a runner, and Ann. I don't know if Ann's a runner, but the 3 of those are really very active in those 2 races. And Jimmy also is running the what do you call it? That little treasure hunt thing.
Geocaching.
Yeah,
geocaching. Yeah.
Him and Steve have been working on that lately, and well, that's all I can think of right now. So welcome aboard.
Thank you.
And,
does someone have the minutes? Was going to review the minutes from the last meeting, I guess.
I don't have the minutes from the last meeting. Hold on a second. I'll see if I can pull them up. I have the agenda for this meeting.
Yeah, I have that too. I can handle that when the time comes.
You miss it. That would be from Ann. John. I'm not seeing minutes.
Well,
Do you remember getting
I think
them?
I've got it here from July 14th, an email from Ann. They're enclosed in the email.
Okay.
Do you want me to just read them?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do I read the whole thing?
Sure.
Okay, starting with the races. As there were, this is July 14th. That was our last meeting, was July 14th, correct?
Yes.
Make sure I'm not going back 2 months. Okay. As there were not additional registrants and the picture for large gatherings is not looking better since our last meeting, it was decided that we would cancel both the 5K and the mile races this year. Joe will circle back and see if sponsors that are paid are interested in sponsoring next year or would like a refund. Joe will work with Carol Schultz if any business is interested in having their sponsor fees returned. Why don't I just go through races and then we'll cover those and then we'll go to the next one. The next point under races, Jimmy will work on refunds, donations from existing registrants with help from Ann. Next point, Ann will work with Jimmy on posting to website information on race cancellation and refund donation. And then the last point is Ann will reach out to Paula, post something on Yardley Borough Facebook page. So that's everything under races from last month. Anything to add? Anything to subtract? Any?
No.
No?
No.
All right.
No.
All right, and I guess we have to talk to Jimmy and Ann to see if they've made any progress with what they're doing, so. We'll reach
Some of
out.
that's in the agenda items that Ann sent out. So why don't you go through all the minutes and then we'll go to the agenda.
Go through everything first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. These are updates. Geocache, thanks to Jimmy and Steve, all in working order and receiving a lot of use. Jimmy looked up usage of all 3 geocache usage and found hidden, I guess from 1/13/2018 have been found 328 times. That does sound like a lot of hits.
Yeah.
And we'll look at some county land ownership maps and see if there are additional locations for geocaches. The lot where the little library is going to be located could potentially be used for a cache. All right, the next bold type is audio equipment test. Works great and very loud according to Jim and Steve. And then we have new items. Cornhole tournament in Buttonwood Park. Trial run of Rec Board and friends to explore Jimmy's idea and develop the concept. Wednesday, July 22nd, 6:30 to 7:30. Bring your board and bags, mask and sanitizer and gloves. And then the last point here is yoga in the Fitzgerald Field. Saturday mornings, Carol Schultz to explore the idea with Saturday morning instructor. I could have people register with Meetup and use to notify if changed due to weather. And meeting adjourned at 7:55. And that's it.
Okay. Do we, I don't remember what the process is. Do we move to accept the minutes? Is that how the procedure works?
Yes.
Yeah, I move to accept the minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
Second.
Approved, yes.
Yeah.
Second,
Minutes accepted from the last meeting. I'll handle the, I guess the agenda items that were sent around for this meeting. The first, obviously everybody knows that there was a status in the email of the money status, and it looks like there's $226 and some change for the mile, $361 for the 5K, and total of $587 and some change. And I believe that they're still publicizing in the newsletter that people can request refunds, and then if after 8/25, we're going to assume that anyone who has not requested a refund has made a donation. I think that's the plan. I don't know what the status of the cash since the minutes or the agenda was drawn up are, if any changes have occurred. So I assume that is ongoing. As far as the sponsors for the runs, I went through the whole list, and it appears that everyone universally has said to roll their donation to next year's race. The only one I haven't officially tracked down is Liz Young from the Commonplace Reader, and I would probably be more confident that she would roll it to next year than anybody else that I've actually connected with. So I've been out of town a lot the last couple of weeks, so I haven't had a chance to stop by. But I'll do that and follow up. But everybody else has graciously agreed to roll it forward to next year and let us hold on to the money and plan the event as scheduled, assuming everything calms down, next spring. So that's the status of the money. So there's no money has had to have been returned from the sponsors. I believe there was an invite sent out. I know I got it, and I as far as a cornhole game, which is tomorrow night, I think there's a few people who have responded, so enough to at least have a game or two to start the tradition, and then hopefully it expands from there. I'm going to do my best to make it. I have a couple of other appointments that hopefully will be done by then, but we'll see. And then at least a few people have confirmed that they're going to show up, or at least allow us to get started. And I think the last time when we discussed it on the meeting last time, we were sort of like, this is sort of like an in-between event. It's sort of casual and voluntary, and we're not going through the whole official process of getting it approved by the town and, officially reserving Buttonwood Park and all that. I suspect that if we get a lot of people starting to show up and it becomes a regular event, we'll probably have to go, Carolyn, you could probably expand on this. We'll probably have to go officially through the town and get the space reserved, and whatever protocols have to be observed, would have to be, kind of officially recognized and managed. As far as now, I think everybody's just going to obviously bring masks and disinfectant and, do our best to be, unofficially socially distant at these meetings. So I think that's the status of that. Carolyn, anything to add? Thompson?
No, I agree with you. I had understood that we're just trying to work out the kinks before inviting a bigger group. So there's no need for an event permit for that or anything. But once it's an official event of the Parks and Rec Board, then you probably should go through the proper channels. Yeah,
and we'll do that. And I'm sure we can wait till the next meeting to do that. Maybe we have a couple of nights of, unofficial cornhole and see how it goes and see how everybody's enjoying it. Be great to be able to sneak over to the vault or something after the cornhole event. If we have to get stuck on the way home or something. I'm game for that if anybody is.
Joe, before we move on, can I go back to money for 1 second?
Yes,
Do you have a list in front of you of the donors?
I do.
And the reason I'm asking is because the one donor I had tracked down was Penn Community Bank, and I had gotten a commitment from them right at the time the COVID hit, and I don't know that we ever got money from them. I know.
The list that I was working from, Steve, was the list of people we had officially gotten money from. So I don't
Okay.
remember them being on the list. At least I got.
Okay.
I guess Ann would know. I think she was managing the list. There was another one that I kind of had a little confusion on. I think it was Foster Jewelers. They were on the list as having been paid, but that was like a glitch. I don't think the money ever got to us. So,
Okay.
I was trying to reach out to them and I wasn't able to, but then Ann told me it wasn't necessary because they never paid.
We got money from Foster. The
Oh,
money, it was Yardley Jewelers.
I'm sorry, Yardley Jewelers. I got them confused with Foster.
Yeah, because they had paid before and we forgot to put them on the shirt. So there was no real money coming in there. That's right. But no, I don't think we got any money never came in from the bank.
Okay. I know they closed the local branch, and I think they're going to close it permanently.
I heard the same.
Yes, correct.
All right.
And Joe, while we're on that, before you leave that subject, there was one sponsor that you hadn't contacted yet. I didn't get the name of that one.
I haven't officially had a conversation with Liz Young at the Commonplace Reader. I sent her an email and I didn't get a response. But I was months ago, I think I was part of the group that stopped by and asked her to participate, and she was very gracious and enthusiastic about the event. And when we went through the first round of, we had the delay, we went back and offered everybody the same thing since we were delaying the race and not canceling it. And she was very gracious and said, just roll it to the postponed date. I'm sure she's going to roll it to next year. But I just haven't had a chance to officially confirm that.
Okay.
So as of now, no need to refund money to anybody related to the sponsors.
Great.
Anything else on the on either the race money or the cornhole event from anyone? I saw the email and I apologize. I didn't focus on it too closely about the budget request. There's an email from Sue. I don't really. I can dig up the email. I'm not sure what we had to
I'm on the
discuss.
phone.
I'm sorry.
That's
Oh,
the
my
annual.
sister's. I was just telling her that I was on the phone. I'm sorry. Come on.
Steve, I was just forwarding on that annual form that the borough sends out to all the committees to do, budget estimates for the year. And there, there's a series of questions on there. While we're on budget, Carol sent us Carol Schultz sent us a copy of the. I'm sorry, Schultz sent us the bank statement from Santander that we've got $7,728 in the bank, which is, I think, pretty close to what we started with at the beginning of the year.
So includes the sponsor money. I don't know how much that. I don't know. Maybe it's $1,000. I'm not sure what the total is.
Okay.
It's about.
Okay. And that we've generally been rolling over between $4,000 and $6,000 a year for the past couple of years to the next year. And Carolyn, when it comes to filling out that budget form, how are people handling that given the situation? Like, are we just going to assume that it's going to go back to normal and we're going to have a normal year? Or?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I would say that, the races, you might want to have a conversation about that for next year too. But yeah, we're assuming that at some point in the spring, things are going to go back to normal, if not before then.
Okay. All right. Well, I will dig out what we've done in the past and get something in draft for people to look at for the next I guess the next meeting. I'm already late by saying that, right? Because it's supposed to be this month. But
So would you mind walking us through just the process of what the Parks and Rec Board does every year related to the budget? I've only been on since February, so I don't really understand what the process is and how do we figure out how much we need and not necessarily the details of how we submit the budget request, but what's the annual process look like?
Well, for the Parks and Rec, it's a little different than most commissions because we don't get money from the borough. We're sort of self-supporting, so it's our own budget.
Okay.
I guess there could be a circumstance where we would request money from the borough, but we haven't since I've been on the board.
Okay.
I have a form that that we've been using with Carol Schultz's help to sort of lay out our expenses on our estimated budget for the year, which I can send to everybody after the meeting. You know, it's fairly informal. We just kind of do our budget estimate and submit it along with that form that the borough wants us to fill out. You know, there's all kinds of questions about cost-cutting measures and things like that that are on it. It's not that big a form, but there's a couple questions. And
Okay.
it all goes to the borough, but, you know, we're not asking them for money, so it's kind of, you know, our internal form.
Yeah, we call the Parks and Recs budget request a pass-through budget because, you know, it doesn't affect our bottom line. So we always approve it as
Okay.
is, whereas other committees that submit budgets usually get their budget shaved down a little bit from what they request. So that's the difference.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, I don't know that there's any other items. Does anyone have anything else that needs to be brought up or discussed by the committee tonight?
Well, I'd like to create a bridge here for Brian to
Sure.
speak a little bit. So as background, we had somewhat of a heated debate at our last council meeting about a grant application proposal for the Reading Ave property. For those of you who don't know, the Reading Ave parcel is a little under an acre. It is between Reading Avenue and the train station, and the borough owns the land. We've recently preserved it as open space, but it does kind of fall under Parks and Rec because it is open space. So there's this weird, we have a independent committee of council, which Brian chairs, that is kind of the custodian of that parcel and helping us come up with a plan on what we want to do with the land. But then we also have Parks and Rec that is supposed to oversee all of our open space. So we need to figure out how the two groups can work together. Specifically, Anne kind of put out an unofficial offer before the last council meeting that that everyone on council took pretty seriously, that the committee was willing to help draft grant applications and be more involved in a very, very real way with getting money for the land. So I think Brian is probably here to follow up on that offer and see how we can work together. Right, Brian?
Yeah, so I'm here for a couple of reasons. One of which was to make everyone aware of that, and also to welcome suggestions, thoughts, opportunities, ideas, whatever we can put together to improve the property. Our goal the goal that we presented to the borough in trying to get this property and successfully getting it deeded as conserved space was to improve the property for both acoustics, for visuals, for drainage, because there's no drainage along Reading Avenue, and currently the property serves more or less as a conduit for water to get down to the neighbors further down the street. So we're hoping to take this opportunity to do a number of things in a long-term plan. We're not looking to do this overnight in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. It's probably a minimum 10-year plan. Caroline, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. We did meet with Bartlett Tree Service.
I saw that. Tell us how that went.
And it went very, very well. Unfortunately, I have not heard back from them since the meeting, but they had a lot of interesting ideas, thoughts. They thought it was certainly something that was worthy of pursuing. The property has, the terms I'll use is good bones, meaning that there are some solid trees that are still that are in place and viable. There's also a lot of invasive stuff, and there's scrub, and there's stuff that just does not belong. So we're hoping to take those good bones and build upon those. And Bartlett has they have an engineering firm for storm drainage. They have landscape architects. They are arborists, and they have a foundation. that does not-for-profit work. And because the approximate size of this project is something that may very well fall within their within their reach without a lot of difficulty, without a big fight. He's thinking it's, you know, just to go in and clear it, he was telling us it's probably about minimum $5,000 to go in and take out what's dead and dying and needs to go. And then from there, it would be, you know, we would have to determine what the plan would be, what, you know, what the plan of action is, where the money is, what we need to do to make it, you know, to start moving forward. Because I want everyone to be very clear that we did not just want this property deeded as protected space and then walk away from it and say, well, we got our property, we have our buffer. We, and especially me, intend to make a very viable effort to take our words and build upon them. You know, I think it's very, very important that everyone understands that. And I think I said in my email back to you guys, Caroline, and to Ryan and others who are, that I was going to make a bona fide effort to get more involved with Parks and Rec. And this is my first step at that point. So hope it wasn't too wordy there, but I'm just trying to get everyone to understand the overall game plan. And as offering as a resource for grant writing, or other people on your board would be, you know, we're more than welcome to, you know, to tap those resources, and anyone and any others that we can get. We have zero money at this point, really. We have a very small budget for this year, but it's almost nothing compared to what needs to be done. So we need to build upon that and build ourselves a war chest to move forward with some, you know, with some real progress. That's it.
Thanks, Brian. And I have just one quick question, and I apologize if you said this and I just missed it. Has the title for the land been passed to the town already, or are we still working on that? Is that to be accomplished?
Well, Caroline might be the better person to answer this question, but the borough owns the property, but it's been deeded with a conservation easement, which means it cannot be developed. So it's now officially deeded as such. So that's
great.
So that's a major step. And another thing which I didn't talk about was, there's so many things we could go into tangentially, is the possibility of bringing a land trust in as a part owner to further lock down the possibility of that property being sold or developed by someone else. At least there'll be two owners, and they both have to, you know, it's make it that much more difficult. But that's not necessarily plan A, but it's an option.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
And I guess you know, there's a plan. At some point, you guys are putting together your long-term plan of you know, I guess the action steps you'd like to take to secure and improve the property. And then I assume somebody's going to take a rough guess of what each of those steps is likely to cost, and then we can start working on either fundraising or grants, right?
Dude, can you please get the dog out of here?
Somebody hasn't been fed. Are you still with us, Brian?
There we are. I'm sorry. I'm not sure how much the dogs got in the way there. I apologize.
I got them in the minutes.
Yeah. So, yeah, in the minutes, right. So, could you repeat the question? I apologize.
Okay, this is just for my own information, and I'm sure this is obvious to most people on the call, mate. And I apologize if this is causing you to have to repeat it. But I assume there's a plan of you know, now that you know the ownership is being set up the way the group wants it, and there's probably a laundry list of things that we would like to do to the property, or that some folks think are necessary to do to the property, and each one has, you know, a fundraising need attached to it. And, you know, some of them are going to be, you know, maybe fundraising efforts are going to fill the void. Some are going to be grants that maybe our group can help file. Is there like is somebody working on some like long-term plan of what's going to be done in what order and how much each step costs?
Yeah, that's the big conundrum. It's a chicken and the egg type situation. Is you know, do we plan before we have the money? Do we get the money before we plan? It's kind of like we got to kind of dig in somehow. We're hoping that we get an opportunity to get somewhat of some funding to then develop starting plans and build from there. It really is. We keep calling it a chicken and egg because it's really what we're in right now. It's a bit of a conundrum. We're trying to prioritize ideas. Nothing's firm, nothing's fast, nothing's on paper, so to speak. It's all been a lot of discussion, but nothing really, no commitment as to what we need to do. We're kind of hoping to bring in an expert such as Bartlett. They can offer some direction as to what is the best way to go. One of the things I failed to mention is we do, without a doubt, want to involve the community and get explore volunteerism, especially for the we'll call it donkey labor within there as far as clearing and getting stuff out of there. We don't really need experts working. We can get people that are willing to offer elbow grease and back braces to go in there and do some work, as long as it can be done executed safely, because it's not every aspect of that clearing is going to be user friendly. Let's say it's going to be, there is some work that needs some trained, skilled people involved. I'm not sure if I went all around your question without answering it, but the bottom line is no, we do not have any firm plans. We don't have any focus right now. We're still kind of in a shotgun approach, trying to come up with ideas, and then we're going to have to sit down and really figure out what the priorities are going to be and then assess funding as a result.
Without relitigating the council meeting we had last week, I think it was kind of, council was of the mind that we didn't have enough of a compelling story or plan yet to be successful for a grant. So that is definitely one of the things that I think we need to figure out, at least a little better than we do right now, what we want to do with the property. But I guess between Parks and Rec and the Reading Ave Committee, I guess the first step would be just making sure lines of communication are open. One group is being invited to the other's meeting and vice versa. Minutes are being shared. And anytime there's a project, ask, you come to this committee first, Brian, and ask for volunteers. Certainly, that's just my thought from hearing what was said.
And Brian, if I could ask a question?
Sure.
So I know you put a lot of thought into this. If there were no more hurdles, if you had free reign tomorrow to start doing whatever you feel we need to do that best suits the community with this ground, what would you do? What's your vision?
The first step is to, again, we spoke at great length. I spent an hour and a half with Bartlett. The first thing we need to do is to survey the property, figure out what needs to stay or should stay.
I'm not talking about steps we need to take. In other words, if those hurdles are out of the way, what's the end result you're looking for? I'm not sure what the end result is. I know we want to improve it, make it better, but what's the end result? What would it be at the end?
Well, it's to get rid of the invasive species. It's to maintain or improve the acoustic properties that act as a buffer between the trains, the running trains, and the neighborhood, as well as a visual buffer with the transformer yard across that's on the other side of the tracks, and maintain as a refuge for the animals that currently live there, and also to improve the drainage qualities and find some way of kind of trying to reduce the runoff that goes down and floods Chris and Melissa's home that's immediately to the west of the property across from the country club. So those are the main goals of the property. The property serves currently as a buffer visually and sound-wise, but it can be improved, and we know that it's been left. I'm not sure how many people are aware of this. That property was bulldozed in the mid-'80s. There were going to be townhomes built or duplexes built over there, and the contractor, the developer, built one home, couldn't sell it, took 15 years to sell, and subsequently filed for bankruptcy and gave up the property. It was purchased at a tax sale by the future developer of the Yardley Station, and he donated the property in exchange for additional building lots on the other side of the railroad tracks. He donated the property on this side, knowing that it really was not something he could do anything with as far as building homes and making any money. So that's how it came to be where it is right now. It was leveled. I was here. It was bulldozed flat. So whatever's there now is just whatever grew by way of nature. There was no planning. There's no engineering. There's no landscaping. It just happened. And while it's doing better than nothing, we know it can be improved. We expect it to be improved, and we hope to be those that help to improve it for the community.
Where does the rec board fit into this? Like, would we be asked to vote on what gets done with this, or just because we oversee outdoor areas, we have some input, or we're just, I'm not sure.
Well, Caroline, I guess, again, you might be the better person for this, but I think it's, as open space, it falls under the auspices of the Parks and Rec Board, just by virtue of that. I don't think it's anything specific.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, it's built into our ordinance that establishes the Parks and Rec Committee that you oversee open space and parks. So this would fall somewhere between those two things. And while we have Reading Avenue Committee, it's not written into our ordinances of the borough. So it officially, by the book, has to fall somewhere under you. And I mean, you don't necessarily need to vote on their decisions, but this last council meeting shone a light on the fact that the two committees perhaps need to be in communication a little more, because there was a major disagreement, and then that affected the council vote. So.
And what's the other committee, Caroline?
Reading Ave Committee,
Oh,
and so that's what Brian chairs.
okay, all right.
And Ann was at that council meeting, Ann Heasley?
No, but she was at the last Reading Avenue Committee, and then we spoke at length by email.
And then just so I understand, at some point we will be asked to vote on whether we want to do something with this or what it is we would do with it. Is that part of what no.
No,
Okay.
probably not.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
no, I think Reading Avenue Committee is just looking for help here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Guidance, manpower, volunteer, sweat equity.
It sounded like also that maybe Ann or someone offered the committee's expertise in maybe filing grant requests to the town.
Correct.
So that's why I asked about the plan of the committee. You know, if there's, $3,000 needed to improve the drainage or whatever the plan is, then if we have some experience in filing a grant application for the town to get that done, then we could help those folks put that together, since we've been through that process. I guess that's what was my understanding of what was said.
I've been trying to be good about keeping Ann involved in all of our meetings, but she's always been involved in the meetings. I know she's got a busy schedule. She's busy, probably busier than most, but she's very busy. And she has been able to make a few of them, but I've been trying to use her more for her expertise and knowledge in landscape architecture than more so than and in land planning, and more so than as Parks and Rec. I wasn't trying to avoid you guys by any means. I guess I really didn't understand the chain of command or the umbrella that sits there. But we welcome, as I said earlier, all the assistance and that we can muster, because we're none of us are grant writers. None of us, and there are 4 people on our committee. None of us are grant writers, landscape architects. This is all kind of new to us. We're kind of jumping in as volunteers. And as neighbors directly across or adjacent to the property. I didn't know I was chairman, by the way, Caroline. I think I just kind of
That's how it happens.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I forgot to step back when I asked for volunteers.
So, but just for everyone's reference, we're talking about grants. The reason why it's really attractive to have in-house grant writing for this is because we would pay a professional somewhere between $1,500 and $3,500 to write a grant, and then with such a small project like this, the return on investment there would be $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. So it's like a large percentage that we would be spending to write the grant. Whereas, the sidewalk project, we're spending $10,000 to write the grant and potentially getting $500,000. So the economies of scales are a little skewed here, and that's why this is one of the projects like the EAC did. We're interested in trying to grant write in-house to cut back on those costs.
Yeah, I mean, if there's some input that we can I'm sure the committee would be glad to help with that, and would be glad to pass the word to try to get some folks together and put some sweat equity into it. If there's an organized project that's scheduled to clear the land or improve the land, I'm game. I'll help. I'm sure we could get a few volunteers from our committee to help if we give it enough time.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And I think the storm drainage question might be even like a different grant than looking at restoring the property in some way. But the thing to bear in mind is, I mean, Bartlett is a fantastic company and they're very skilled at what they do. But, you know, you have a look at how much has grown in the time since that. So you're saying that property was clear cut, and, you know, nature just will not allow a vacuum here. So you could spend a lot of time and effort to create, you know, a certain environment with no invasives, but those birds are pooping that stuff out all the time, and it's going to be a constant ongoing maintenance thing that's going to have to be addressed if you go in there and try to develop, you know, that
absolutely. We don't expect we'll get it done and walk away. And obviously there's going to be some maintenance involved but I think if we can get the major stuff done, spending a day a year versus, you know, a week, solid week or longer to raise it of anything that we don't want, it would be a lot more, a lot simpler and easier a smaller tablet, a smaller pill to swallow. Currently, between Chris and myself, we maintain the front 4 feet along the road. Not so much recently because it's gotten so overgrown, our mowers can't get through it anymore. But we've been trying to keep that drainage path as clear as possible for both safety of vehicular traffic, for pedestrians. That's the other thing we didn't talk about is pedestrian safety along there. We're hoping we can clear, 4 to 6 feet across the front so we can possibly build either a concrete or a gravel walkway. Because right now, Chris and Melissa walk their children they have to walk along Reading Avenue. And there are no shoulders there, no sidewalks there. There's no place to walk. And we need to make that a safer location for pedestrians as well as just the vehicles. On the big plan.
So you're talking about somewhere down the line to put sidewalks in, or?
Well, not so much a sidewalk, but at least a safe place to walk, a cleared area to walk. I mean, sidewalks may be coming into play. We don't know. You know, we don't want to broach that too publicly, I guess. But I think just
perhaps some
thinking
gravel.
about making it safer. Yeah, it could be wood chips, it could be gravel, as long as it's a clear place to walk, push a stroller or a wheelchair if necessary. Just so we don't have even bicycles. It's not non-car friendly for that stretch of 300 yards. It's rather treacherous because it's also there's a slight crown in the road. Cars accelerate up, and by the time they hit the crest, all of a sudden there's someone there, or it's dangerous. And it was repaved within the last year, and the 25-mile speed limit is not something that's that's followed on a regular basis.
I apologize, everyone. I have to jump off, but I will follow up by email on the minutes.
Okay, Caroline. Good to see you.
Okay.
Thank you, Caroline.
Bye. Thanks,
Okay,
everyone.
bye-bye.
Okay.
Maybe at sometime when it cools off a little bit, we can sort of plan a little visit to the property so that we have more of an understanding of what's involved there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I would suggest you all wear long pants and long sleeves. There's poison ivy everywhere in there.
Yeah.
What's interesting, it's on a side note, one of the suggestions that the Starker Wright from Bartlett brought to the table is, what he's done in the past is bring in goats. Goats love to eat poison ivy. He said you fence the area and leave them here for about 3 to 4 weeks, and the poison ivy, all that stuff will be gone. Like, who'd have thought? I never considered that. Never thought anything like that. But he said he actually did it on his farm. He brought goats in to eat the poison ivy. And it turns out there are companies called Rent-A-Goat that do that.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Okay. I think we have a lot more information than we had before, and we'll definitely keep it on the agenda for the next meeting and try to put together some ideas about how we can help and get involved. And if there's any kind of planning that needs to be done at some point, there's got to be a master plan for the project with priorities and and total costs, and then you just start knocking them down as you raise the money. I mean, it's,
Right.
you know, and we're
Well,
happy.
we meet the third Monday of every month, just the day prior to the second meeting, Borough Council meeting. Ryan Berry had been our liaison. I guess I'm sure most of you are aware he is resigning. I don't know who's going to take his position. So we're scheduled to meet, I guess it would be next Monday. And then I will ask the other 3 members of our group to participate with your meetings as well, so we can get more going together as a group. We're very informal. We don't have a budget really. We have a budget. We haven't tapped it. We haven't been able to make positive steps yet and investments. But we're hoping to make something happen. We were hoping, again, obviously the coronavirus did all kinds of things to destroy everyone's plans this summer. But we were kind of hoping that we were going to be able to get boots on the ground in there sometime this spring, summer, and start to do some stuff. But I think, as you guys pointed out, a site visit will enlighten a lot of people. You'll be able to see a lot of, you see what we're talking about and what some of the potential. We all welcome that.
It might be a little bit soon to be able to get that site visit done with our group, in time for your next meeting. But maybe we'll copy you on the meeting minutes for this week, including everything we've discussed, and we'd like your feedback as to whether you think we covered everything that you think that Parks and Rec could possibly be helpful with. And then if you could share with us the same conversation you had with your group on Monday, that would be great. And then I'm sure by late August or early September, we can get a group of us, a subgroup of the Parks and Rec folks, maybe with your help, and just walk around the property and get an idea of the scale and plan and the results of the 2 meetings, and then we'll see where we go from there.
Great. I'll keep. I have Ann's email address. I have Caroline's email address. I don't know that I have the email addresses of anyone else in the group. I don't know if they're posted on your little spot on the borough website, but I'll make sure that I keep Ann in the loop for sure, and if she can distribute the disseminate information, that would be great. And
that would be great. Ann is on our distribution, so she'll share our minutes with you, and then if you share yours with her, she'll relay them to the rest of us.
Great, very good. Keep in mind, it's 0.91 acres. It's pretty small, so it's not like we're talking about a forest really. It's just one of the last open parcels of property in the borough, and fortunately we were able to fight to maintain its openness and keep it green, because some of the ideas that were being pushed a couple of years ago were not pretty, like putting 12 townhouses over there was what was attempted to be done a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's great. Open space is preferable for sure. Than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Brian. I really appreciate your input, and we'll follow up with our minutes and look forward to getting yours, and we'll see where the next step is. It sounds like a visit to the site and talk about next steps. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your participation. Thank you.
Not at all. Thanks. Okay. Does anyone else have any other issues for tonight's meeting? And
No,
I
don't.
one, as a rookie meeting administrator. I know I'm recording this meeting. I have no idea what to do with that recording has anybody done that role and have any idea? I can reach out to Ann or Paula and figure it out. I just don't want to lose control of the recording. I have never done this on Zoom, so I don't know. I assume it stays on my hard drive and I just send it to somebody, because you wouldn't record it if they were going to save it, aren't going to save it somewhere. All right, if nobody knows what's going on with it, I'll figure it out. All right, any other issues for this week? All right, I think that's a wrap.
Not me.
Motion to adjourn? Anybody second?
Second.
All right, folks, stay cool. Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hope to see
Bye-bye,
something
all.
tomorrow. Hey, Joe, you still on there?
I am. I guess I got to cancel the meeting. Okay.